Hey there, Porsche Files. Welcome to BreitWerks. What are you looking at? 1974 911S. And we've got one light out on the car, and it turns out that it is the tail light on the passenger side. And when I tried to just replace the bulb, it's actually the fixture that's broken. And lucky us, this is the one that has all of the extra wiring for the oil tank sender. So, left-hand side, no big deal. Right-hand side, we're going to get into it. So we'll show you what we got once we get her opened up. But fortunately, the entire assembly, not the lens, but the entire assembly is still available from Porsche. And once those contacts, once that socket breaks, there's really no good way to fix it. There are some DIY ways of doing it, but it won't last very long. So we're going to replace that entire fixture, and we'll show you as we get on with it. So I often get asked, Jason, why do you hate on paint shops so much? Well, here's a good example, right? The lights come with new ones, thank God, but it's supposed to be a Phillips head because you can't get a wrench in there. Plus, now that I can get a wrench in there because I made some room, the thing just spins. So, unfucking believable is what this is. You know, these two screws supposed to come out, boom, boom, boom. I had a guy legit get pissed at me yesterday because I wouldn't give him a quote over the phone on a 20-year-old car that needed something removed and replaced. This is why, right? How do you get that bolt out? Well, it's behind the oil tank. So you can either take this off, or we're gonna try and go in there and make a little hole so we can get the fixture out of the way, and then we'll work on the fastener that's behind there. But yeah, if you're replacing something on one of these cars, use the right bolts, screws, right? That's just supposed to be a very, very simple screw. It's a Phillips head screw, nothing fancy. But somebody must have put a self-tapper in there because, hey, oh well, we'll get it out and we'll move on. But these are the little foibles that you find with these old cars that have been touched by so many hands. So when we put this thing back together, we'll use the right fasteners so the next guy, if it's me, if it's somebody else, won't have to spend an hour drilling this out. All right, we're gonna get on with it. That's enough of me whining. All right, so now that we got that crap wagon screw out, what's interesting is at least the self-encapsulated nuts or whatever are still in there. We did not destroy those. So we got this guy out. Now where does he go? Well, it's one of the beautiful things about actual Porsche parts and not the dance repops. Gives you all the stuff you need. So when we look, this guy is your main connector, so he'll get popped back in there and go to the car harness. But we've got, believe it or not, under all that crud, there's some wires there. So we got those two, and then we've got this light that's also actuated by that wire. So this light comes through, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it, but it goes through a small hole in the bumper. So what we're gonna do is zip tie the new one to this and pull it through so that we don't have to take this bumper pad off. And why don't we want to take the bumper pad off? We run the risk of cracking it if we take the bumper pad off. So that's why we're not gonna take the bumper pad off. We're gonna work through it. So we'll get all that cleaned up, get this thing out of here. And it all came down to the tail light connector. It's a double pole, but it's broken. So when you put a light in there, it just pushes the contacts back and doesn't make any connection whatsoever. So this is all pot metal stuff. I've tried JB welding in the past. I've tried all kinds of neat things to try to fix these, and not one of them is as cost effective as just getting a new unit and replacing it. But we'll use the old lenses so that way everything matches for the time being. But once the car gets painted, the owner may want to put new lenses on. But we're gonna get after it. First thing we gotta do is a little bit of cleaning up in here so that we can actually see the wires. All right, we'll get after it and show you. All right, we got our light precariously perched. Well, it's not precariously perched because we've got our ground wire reconnected to the shock tube mount, right? And that's probably the healthiest wire that's on there. So that fixture is not going anywhere. And we have our oil, I guess, level indicator wire already connected up. So we're good there. I think I've been putting those on backwards for years. It's the red wire that goes to the center. I don't think it matters because it's just a ground loop. And we are now on to the most precarious part because we only get one shot at this. I've got this guy taped to the old one because the routing is a little funky through the bumper. So let's see if my tape will hold. And it looks like it did. Oh, outstanding. All right. So what we'll do now is we will reconnect the license plate light and put it back in with its one bolt, one screw. I'm sure it has one screw because probably looking here, the other screw doesn't appear to have a mate on the back end. Plus this side only has one screw too. So maybe it was just a match for whoever did this last. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get that in, and then we will hope and pray that these little screws actually line up. Hey, it's a Porsche part, right? So it should be perfect. All right, we're gonna get on with it. We're gonna get this guy put back in, and then we're gonna put some bulbs in it. Let there be light. So there's our culprit, all right? So we had this guy working just fine. We did not have that guy working. So now we got turn signal working, we got our side marker working, and we have our tail light working. Good stuff. So we'll put on the lens cap. All right, so out there in YouTube land, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds has elapsed since I said, hey, it's a Porsche part, should fit perfect. Well, the pigtail that goes into the engine bay is 33.2 millimeters. The one that came out is 33.2 millimeters. The one that came out was 32.8 millimeters. So fishing that guy in, getting him to stick, yeah, 15 seconds elapsed for you guys. Way more for me. But anyway, we've got our hazards working, we got our side light working, we got our tail light working. I confirmed that reverse was also working. But yeah, we're gonna call this a success. So thanks for watching. Hey, changing a fixture shouldn't be that hard, right? Well, not on a 50-year-old part that had been there the entire time. Anyway, have a fantastic day. Check us out at BreitWerks.com. And we're going to get little Persephone back on the road.